Okay, so this is going to be my December reading wrap-up. I am late. This should have went up the last week of December. You know, kids were out for holiday vacation. Husband was home. Work is a little slow here and there during the winter. But what we're going to do is we're going to do my reading wrap-up. But we're going to start with what I read from the TBR. Then we're going to go with the books read that wasn't on the TBR. So this pile is what was on my TBR that I read. These two piles wasn't on my TBR. And then I've got books from my TBR that I DNF'd. Other books that I DNF'd that wasn't on the TBR. And I don't have those books. So, well, I mean, I have one of them, but I'm not getting it. So I'll have to, when I go to edit, I'll have to put in pictures and different things like that. Anyhow, let's get started. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because everybody sees spoilers differently. Some like them, some don't. Some things are spoilers to me that may not be to you, so we're just going to get into it. Anyway, Moment of Truth by Kasie West. I've said before, she is one of my favorite authors. I do plan on getting the rest of the books that she's got out that I don't have. Moment of Truth is just a really cute romance story. Pretty sure it's YA. I do love it. It's cute. It's simple. It's easy to read. It's a quick read for me. Then we've got Shadow and Bone. I can't remember my initial thoughts on it, but I read Siege and Storm 2, and I finished that closer to the end of the month. And I am reading book 3 for January. You'll see that in my January TBR. By the time you see this, that one will be already up. Matter of fact, I posted that one just a little bit ago. Like I said, I'm late for some of my December videos. But here we are. So the only reason why I am even going to finish this trilogy right here is because I want to read Six of Crows. I have heard that you don't have to read this trilogy to read Six of Crows, but then I've also seen where you should read it. And I'm just reading it. But overall, not a fan of Shadow and Bone trilogy. I'm hoping I like Six of Crows. So there's that. The Heart Principle. This is the last book in the Kiss Quotient trilogy. But they're standalones, but they intertwine because of the characters Helen Huang. I hope I pronounced that right. This is it is a romance, and I do like it. I don't know where my initial thought process was going, but it's a little spicy. Who even am I? I like that. I don't even know. But, I mean, if you like romance and you like a little bit of spice in your romance, I mean, I recommend reading this. So, there's that one. And now, let's get into the books that wasn't on my TBR, but I've read. My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. I've seen couple people, can't remember how many people I saw talk about this author, but I decided to try it. This is a romance mystery. This says mystery thriller, but I classify it as a romance mystery thriller only because it does have romance. And to me, yes, there's a little bit of a mystery there, but it leans more romance to me. That's just my opinion. But I did like it. We're going to talk about all these together. We've got Twisted Love, Twisted Games, Twisted Hate, Twisted Lies by Ana Huang. This is the Twisted series. I think I saw 1 or 2 people talk about this. I don't remember if it was 1 or 2. I have a bad memory if you can't tell. I love this quartet. Again, it's a romance. It's spicy. If you like that kind of thing, go ahead and read these. In my opinion, the guy main characters of these, to me, they're a little on the grumpier side. But then, I can't remember if it was the third one or the fourth one. The female main character is kind of a little bit grumpy-ish too, in my opinion. Just the way her and the guy, and I don't want to give which main characters are in which, so that's just me and how I do it. Hopefully you don't mind. Anyhow, I don't remember my train of thought, but these are really good. I recommend them if you like romance and you like a little bit of spice within your romance. There's another quartet of hers I want to get, because I loved this so much. Another Kasie West book, Kasie West, On the Fence. This was really good. This was my last read of the year. I could not see me going the last few days of the year without reading anything. So I read this. And I finished it New Year's Eve morning. So I went all day because I read it that morning and I didn't read anything. I just watched a bunch of YouTube. And I know that sounds weird to y'all, but I didn't want to start something at the end of 2022, like the very end, and then continue it in the new year. I've done it before and never cared. So why I cared this year, I don't know. But this one's really good. It's another one of her romance. They're romance, obviously. It's YA. They're quick. They're simple. The Restless Dark by Erica Waters. I have never heard of this author. I think I've seen this recommended to me on Amazon. I almost DNF'd it, but I finished it. Not my favorite. It is a mystery-ish with a little romance, I guess you could say. But not much, but it's a mystery, and it... I don't know. I don't even know how to explain this. It was okay. Would I recommend it? Not really. It was okay. But that's all I can say about it. The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody. This was another one. It was okay. This girl, airport, it goes back between the past and the present. Something traumatic happens to her. And she meets somebody. So it's a romance. It's YA. I think it's a romance. But something did happen to her. And it's going through that. And I apparently am terrible at explaining books. But anyway, it was okay. I'm not going to say it's my favorite. I'm not going to say I hated it. I'm just going to say I liked it enough to finish reading it. I will say, though, I didn't like how it ended. I wish it would have let her get home, because it really takes place in an airport. So I wish it really would have let her get home, see if it would let her, see if it showed her mom and her relationship get better. See if her and the person she met continued to talk and stuff. So I wish it did go a little further, but it didn't. But it was okay. Siege and Storm, Leigh Bardugo, Book 2 in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I almost DNF'd this. I never thought to DNF Shadow and Bone, but I almost DNF'd this one, but I decided to continue it because I want to finish the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I want to see, I want to read this just so I can read Six of Crows. And I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. So spoiler, if I don't like Six of Crows, I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to DNF it, and then I'm just going to DNF the rest of the series. Because so far, I just don't, overall, I just don't like the trilogy. But I am going to finish it. Okay, let's do these. Punk 57, Credence, both by Penelope Douglas. They're romance, they're spicy. I liked this one better than this one. Now, don't get me wrong, I did like this one, but we'll get to why. There are some things about it I didn't like. This is about... I can't even explain what it's about. Let's just say this girl, she has this guy. She's not with him, but she kind of is. Anyway, they end up being done. And then she ends up with this other person, like hanging out with or whatever. But what she didn't, there was something about it she didn't know. But the flip side of that is, I can't remember what grade she was in. Her class and this other person's class, they ended up doing a pen pal thing, and they've been writing forever or whatever. But then something happens, and I guess he just stops writing or whatever. But she continued writing. And the guy that she was writing was like, in a band, and again, I'm terrible at explaining this, so I'm just going to stop because that's cringy. But this was really good. I did like it. This one, it was good, but the part that had it cringy was, okay, so the main character, I can't remember her name. I'm terrible at remembering main characters' names. I'm sorry. But she ended up having to go stay with her uncle, and it's not even so the uncle has 2 sons. They're not blood family to her. It was her dad's stepbrother, so, and she wasn't raised around him at all. So something happens to where she has to go stay with them for a little bit. And there was just some things within her staying with him that happened that was very, very cringy. But in the end, it was a good ending. Sarah Dessen, What Happened to Goodbye? What was this about? I can't. Anyway, this was good. From what I remember, I can't remember the exact names of the books I've read before. I think it was like 1 or 2 books of hers I've read before. I did like it. But this one, I didn't like as much as those. And that's if I'm remembering right. This was good. So if you like Sarah Dessen, I'd recommend it. It's a YA romance. But this girl, she lives with her dad. Her relationship with her mom is rocky. Her dad, the job that he has, they're constantly moving. And every time she moves, she reinvents herself. Until they get to the place that they're at in the book. And that's all I'm going to say. But it was good. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I liked it more now that I'm thinking about it than what I did while I was reading it. Anyway, I know that makes no sense, but there you go. If He Had Been With Me, Laura Nowlin. I heard several people talk about this, how it was really good, all that stuff. This was good. It was okay. But it wasn't my favorite. With what I heard about it, I thought it was going to be a favorite for me. But it wasn't. But the ending was really sad, though. So now I understand why people cried at the toward the end of it. And normally things like that would have me a little teary-eyed, too. But I didn't. But again, it was okay. Okay, so now you're going to see this for a few minutes. Well, you probably won't, because when I edit pictures in, I'm probably going to put it over it. So, the books that were on my TBR that I DNF'd was Bleed For Me, which was book 4 in the Joe McLaughlin series, because it's a series of standalones, by Michael Robotham. I ended up not finishing that book. I ended up DNFing the whole series. I just didn't care enough to read it. Ashley Bell by Dean Koontz. I remember loving Dean Koontz. I remember he used to be one of my favorite authors, but I had to DNF that. It was something about it that I just didn't care to continue. And then we've got The Other Girl by Erica Splinder. That was a library book. I DNF'd it too. I didn't care enough to finish it. And that's all I'm going to say on those 3. And then other books that I had started reading that wasn't on my TBR that I DNF'd. And I'm just going to list them. I'm not even going to talk about them because I didn't really read enough to tell you anything. So The Right Hand of Evil, John Saul. Now, he's another author that I used to really like. And I think I got to page 48 or so. And I just couldn't. Like that part. And I just couldn't. Now, I'm wondering if I would read more of it, would it get better? Because I remember his books were good. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe I should read more. So that one's iffy. To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. I remember starting the movie to that one. Couldn't finish it. Couldn't get into it. I decided to try the trilogy. It was quick and easy to flip the pages, if that makes sense. But just going to pick it up to read it, I couldn't. So I DNF'd it. The Perfect Witness by Iris Johansen. I couldn't either. The concept, the storyline sounded interesting. But just the way the main character and the guy that she was with that supposedly was trying to help her, I'm sure at the end he would have had ulterior motives. I don't know. But something about their interactions and their conversations just irritated me. So I just was like, nope, not going to do that. The Walled City by Ryan Graudin. Was I halfway through or not quite halfway through with that one? I can't remember, but I just went ahead and DNF'd it. I just didn't care enough to finish it. And if I'm not mistaken, that's a historical fiction. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was a historical fiction. But I DNF'd that one too. So, there's that. So, I have read 16 books in December, and I DNF'd 7. So, not too bad. And as you can see, I am trying to get better about DNFing things I don't like. Because at one point, I used to force myself to finish stuff. I'll never forget the time that it took me 3 weeks to read this one book. I hated it. Now, granted, there are some books that I like that are just okay for me, but I want to finish reading them anyway. That may take me a little bit. Or a book that's kind of heavy in content, because a lot of fantasy, I would say, is kind of heavy in content. And that might take me a couple of weeks or so to read. And that's fine. But when it's a book I know I can't stand and I force myself to read it, I can't keep doing that to myself. I have too many books on my shelves that I need to read. I have too many that are coming out this year that I want to get. And then and if you're a book lover like I am, you know that there's always going to be books you want to buy. No matter what you tell yourself, there's always books you're going to want to buy. May not be today or tomorrow, but they're going to always be books you want to buy. So I'm trying to be better with the whole DNF. But anyway, that's it for my December reading wrap-up. I was hoping to get this up at the end of December, but I didn't. With Christmas holiday and everybody home, it was just kind of, for me, it's weird. I can't record and film while people are here. And yes, I use my phone, but it's weird for me anyway. So I'm not ramble anymore. And this one right here, my reading wrap-up, will go up tomorrow. My January TBR went up today. And when I say go up tomorrow, this is going to go up Tuesday. So by the time you see this, if you watch this, tomorrow is going to be Tuesday the 3rd, and that's when this video is going up. So anyway, have a great day. Bye.